War in Ukraine forms the backdrop of this year's event, but it's the health of the US president that is dominating headlines and discussion. Joining us live now is David Frum, the political commentator and former speechwriter for President George W. Bush. David, good to see you this morning. Thanks for your time. It's such an interesting competition of storylines here, isn't it? What should be a big moment for Joe Biden, hosting all these world leaders on a big event, completely overshadowed by his health.
I think we need some context as to why President Biden's health is such an important story. President Biden obviously is functional. His administration has delivered many good results. I'm not a member of his party. I'm a career Republican, but you have to say the economy is strong. The United States is united with its allies in support of Ukraine and support of Israel. It's a pretty good record. The reason we are so worried about his health is that Joe Biden faces a unique political challenge in 2024. He's running against the first person in American history to attempt a coup against the United States government in an attempt to overthrow an election. It is because of Donald Trump that this question is so urgent. If President Biden were facing a challenge from Nikki Haley or some other Republican, no one would much worry. I mean, his health would be ill, so you choose the opponent. But in this case, the opponent is so dangerous that the president's health naturally rivets the attention of the world.
Well, I mean, but you look at his performances and, you know, he struggles to get sentences together. I mean, it's not just dangerous, is it not, for him to stay on as leader of the US, but dangerous for what that could mean for the rest of the world.
The danger is that he could lose an election because of concerns about his health to someone who tried to overthrow the Constitution of the United States. When, as we've seen in France, as we've seen in other countries, the voices of the center left and the center right, they always have their faults and foibles. But when you're confronted with these anti-democratic authoritarian challengers, that is the paramount danger that all eyes must be on.
So you think Joe Biden should stay in the race here?
Whether he should stay in the race is going to be between him and his doctors. And that's, of course, there's a very important calculation as to whether the Democratic Party would do better to substitute him for his vice president. I don't think there are any choices other than Biden or Harris. But again, I really want to caution about making Biden's imperfect health an equal issue to Donald Trump's imperfect commitment to democratic principles.
David, you'll know a bit more about this than I would, but a bit over the last day or so has been made about the 25th Amendment. And if Biden can be forced out by his own party, how likely would that be, though? Because as I understand, you need 2/3 support for that to happen, which might not be achieved here.
I think I would say the probability of that is about zero. Maybe a little minus. Look, the 25th Amendment doesn't remove the president from office. It suspends the operation of the presidency for intervals of 30 days at a time. It's designed for a situation where the president has had some kind of debilitating health incident, a stroke, for example, but is still alive. It might have been invoked in Donald Trump's case after the events of January 6th. But again, the president was alive. And he was the president. So even in that extreme case, it wasn't invoked. In the case of Biden, who's clearly slowing down, but is obviously functional, the chances, again, are zero.
I mean, if he wins, if Joe Biden wins this election somehow, if he stays on and wins the election, and what shape is he going to be for his next term?
I don't think we have to worry about it very much. Presidents have often faded in office. Sometimes they've died in office. We have constitutional mechanisms for a president's health imperfections. We have a lot. That's what the vice president is there for. That is not an insuperable problem. What is an insuperable problem is when you have a president who doesn't believe in the democratic system. That's what we had last time. Let's not have that again.